Before beginning this section, it is necessary for you to read chapters 5, 6, and 7 of the text. Then as we go along, have the text available so that you can follow the discussion. Chapter 5 discusses leadership models. Chapter 6 discusses decision-making as it applies to school leaders. And Chapter 7 discusses communication, patterns, and models to assist the leader in involving stakeholders in the process of leadership. First of all, leadership, Chapter 5. This chapter examines the definition and characteristics of leadership. There are many models of leadership traced through the past to the present. Below are a few of the ones I think are particularly important and useful. First, the trait theory. This one was of paramount importance when I was learning leadership back in the 70s. The idea was that leaders all had certain traits or characteristics. If one could learn and develop these same traits, then one would become a good leader. However, if one could not, then one would not be a good leader. Recognize some holdover from classical thinking? Turns out that the theory does not describe the way the world works. One can indeed be a good leader without the proper traits of a leader. Instead, we learned that there are basic values and philosophies that good leaders tend to share. But leadership can be taught within those basic values and philosophies. There is no one set of appropriate traits. Then there were the Big Ten studies, Ohio, Iowa, and Michigan. The Iowa studies, again about the same time I was studying at Iowa myself, developed a three-factor description of leadership: authoritarian, democratic, and laissez-faire. These are useful definitions, but really what was being described here was a continuum from authoritarian on one end to laissez-faire on the other, with the desired place in the middle, the democratic. The other studies essentially said the same thing in different words. The value of these studies was that they were preparing the way for modern concepts of leadership. Fiedler's contingency theory, one of the biggest breakthroughs in the definition of leadership, in my opinion. Heretofore, the leadership theories all describe leadership as if it existed by itself, as if it were a detached entity, something one could study all by itself. However, Fiedler said that leadership can only exist within, hence the next discussion. At this point, we will have a discussion using the same groups and procedures as before. The question is, what is the key element that Fiedler introduced in his model that is missing from all the other models? How does this key element radically change the way we define leadership?